Hey guys, welcome back to Selenium with C has training session 30. In today's session, you will learn how to verify tooltips in Selenium WebDriver with the help of C has. So what is tooltips? So tooltips is a text that appears when a mouse hover over an object like link, image, button, text area, etc. in the web page. The text often gives more information about the object on which it appears. It helps user to understand the application. Right? Sometimes there are so many like web element available like link, button, images. If we mouse over right to that particular element, right, we can get some sort of text, right? So that is called tooltips. It will give you more information what that image or link or button all about, right? The more information will be there in the tooltips. So tooltips are displayed automatically when user hover the pointer over an object and are removed when the user clicks on control or move the mouse or when timeouts. Tooltips are traditionally implemented as a title attribute to an element. The value of this attribute were shown as a tooltip on mouse over. This is a static state giving information of the element with no styling. For accessing or verifying the static tooltip which are implemented using the HTML title attribute, user can simply use the get attribute title method of the web element. The return value of this method, which is the tooltip text, is compared with an expected value for verification. So there are several tooltips available for the normal way, right? In case for a particular element title is visible, right, the title is there for the tooltips, you can easily access that particular text with the help of get attribute title method. But in case there are some other implementation like jQuery or CSS tooltips where title is not available, so for that if interaction API to create mouse over effect will be required, right? So these are the different steps I will be covering later. So let's try to complete. In case there is a title attribute available and when mouse over you will be getting some tooltips, right? How you can handle those tooltips in Selenium WebDriver. So there are two URL I will try to open, right? You can see this is the one URL. So here is a tooltip available, right? You can see download now. If you mouse over, you can see this is the different file version, size, OS, right? And this is the text is coming. This is called tooltip text, right? And there is another URL, right? citibank.com, right? If you mouse over to any right button or link, right, it will be giving you some tooltips text, right? You can see if you mouse over in the login now, the login now text is being displayed. Let's try to inspect both the pages element and let's see how like they are behaving. So in the first pages if you mouse over to the login now button, right, you can see, right, the title tag is available for that particular element which is starting with image, right? This is image, right? src is there, width is there, alt is there, right, and title is also there for the image. Okay, so if you just go here, you can see that if you mouse over it, right, you will be getting the details where title is present called login now. So with the help of the title, right, get attribute title, right, get attribute method and title, you can easily get the tooltips for that particular thing. But there are some circumstances, especially for the jQuery or CSS tooltips, the title particular attribute will not be available for that particular element or object, right? Let's try to inspect it as well in the page, right? So if you click on the download now, you can see this is coming. But if you mouse over that element, right, you could see there is no title attributes also there, right? And if you expand it, right, so this is the starting with the tag, right? So it's kind of link, right? If you expand the div tag also, which is the class is tooltips class, you can see there is a image there and there is an href, right? So this is the text available. So if you click on the down, you can see that the text is coming. So that text will be coming as the tooltips. But here no title attribute is available for the object, right? Then how can I handle it? So now let's concentrate on that element where title is already there, title tag is already there, right? Let's try to mouse over here and let's try to identify the element. Log in now, right? And let's see how we can do it. So you can see this is the ID available for that login now, right? Link, anchor link. So with that help of that login ID, right? So we can get the title login now. So let's press F1. You can see 1 out of 1 is being displayed. So with the help of the ID, I can identify and I can get the title of the login now button, right? Or link. Here it is showing us button, but it's a link. If you click here, right, it will be opening something. So let's go to the Visual Studio. Okay. So here we are already creating the object code instance for the WebDriver interface, and we are maximizing the window. We are trying to navigate to the URL, and I'll be creating a iWeb element called login now link, right? Okay, where I'll be identifying with the help of ID but dot find element by dot ID here I can give the ID reference, right? So what is the ID? This is the ID. So with the help of that I can identify the element, right? I can close the bracket. Then, right, I can get the tooltips with the help of which attribute? Get attribute. So let's try to get the object whatever we are creating for that element, iWeb element dot get attribute, right? Here you need to pass title, right? What is that? This is the title, title. That's you can pass it within the double quote. So definitely it will be giving you string, right? So you can store in some string, right? Let's store in some string. String login now tooltips. Okay, so that's why I can get it. Now I can print it out. So console dot write line, here I can print it, that variable, right, value. So it will be displayed in the console. So that's why in case for a particular element for which tooltip is available, for that element the title attribute is present, right, then easily with the help of get attribute method available in the Selenium WebDriver and with the help of title reference we can easily get the tooltip string value, and then after that we can use it as and when required, right? We can print it out, we can compare with the expected and the actual part, right? We can do whatever is required. Let's try to run the code and let's see whether the tooltip is getting displayed or not. So here you can give tool tip text, so that part will be getting added here, and here I can concatenate that variable, right? Okay, now let's try to run the code and let's see whether I am able to get the tooltips for an object where the title attribute is available and the value is there, right? So that value I can get it back in my console, and I can save it with the help of that string, and that can be used anywhere based on my requirement. So it will try to open the console, right, and through which we will try to launch the Chrome browser. Once the browser is launched, it will open the browser, it will maximize the browser, it will pass the URL. Once the URL is fully loaded, it will try to identify that element, and it will try to, right, get the tooltips, and it will be printed out in the console. So that's the lines of code I have written. So it might take some times. Okay, once the page is loaded, you can find the tooltips, right? You can see the tooltip text is coming as login now, right? So tooltip text I already added to print it out. After that semicolon, then space. After that, the tooltips is getting added, right? Here in the console you can see the login now is getting added, right? So where is the what is the tooltip for that element? You can already see it from that element itself, right? You can see the login now. This is the text. It should be printed because this is the title of the tooltips, right? You can see so this is matching. So my test case is able to, I am able to successfully execute my test cases, and I am able to get the tooltips, right? For the element, it can be image, it can be link, it can be hyperlink, it can be a button, it can be web edit field, but I can able to get the tooltips where title is already there. So with that help of get attribute title, I am able to get the tooltips, required tooltips. So that is the one approach, right? Then the next approach where the title will not be present, right? Right, the title attribute will not be there. So for the second case, right? So this is the URL. So let's try to comment out those things. Let's try to open the new URL. So what is the URL? Just try to replace it with that URL. Okay. So here in the particular URL, if you want to inspect the download now button here, right? So you can see there is no right title attribute is available. And if you click on the download now, you can sorry, if you mouse over it, you can see that text is available, right? So here, so download now is an one element, and this is the another element, right? So how can you get the text, right? So you need to expand the div tag, right? After which you will be getting a reference tag where you can get the tooltips. So this is the tooltips text available. So how can you access it? Let's try to identify a element for that button first, which is the download now button, right? So here I will element download now button. Okay, so I will identify the button with the help of ID, which is nothing but the download now. So this is the ID. I can identify the element uniquely with the help of ID. So how can, right, get the tooltips? So first we need to object an instance of the action class after identifying the element, right? Then we need to identify the element and store in some web element. After that we need to use the action class to move to the element and to handle the tooltips using move to element method. After that we can get the text of the web element used with the help of text method, and you can store in some string. After that we can use that particular text or string, right? Whatever available for this kind of tooltips, especially for the jQuery plugin or Swiss tooltips, right? We can use as and when required. So first I am creating an object for that button, download now button, right? After that I will be creating a object or instance for the actions class. Here I need to provide the driver information. So that's why I can create an object or instance for the actions class, right? Then how can we do it? So with the help of actions class object, right, I can go and click and hold, and then move to element, dot move to element, click and hold, dot move to element. Here I need to provide the reference, right? What is the reference? Download now button. So that is the first thing I'll be doing it. I'll be clicking and holding, and then I am moving to the element, right? After that I will be performing the operation. So how can you do it? So I can again use dot move to element method. I can call move to element method, move to element method, right? Here I can provide the reference of download button, then build dot perform. So I am just navigating, right, and moving to the element build dot perform. So this is the first thing I can do it. So I can, so that the thing will be available, right? So once I just move over, right, move to the element, then only text will be visible, right? You can see. So I need to first click and hold and then move to the element, right, and build perform action. So that is the operation I need to perform with the help of actions class. Okay. Then next what thing I need to do? I need to identify that, right, that one. Then how can I identify the text? So you need to expand it, right, and you need to create a object or path for that particular text. Okay. So how I will be identifying it? Let's try to create another element with, and where I will be using the object or using the XPath. So I can give the name as tooltip text, right? So that text will be giving it, and here I can use XPath. So let's try to create a XPath. Let's remove that one for now. Let's try to create a XPath for this particular text. How can I create XPath? So this is the class is available at the div level, right? So I can just with the help of the class I can create a XPath. Okay, Control F / div, or if you do not want to give the div, sorry, you can give star, then / then star. So I want to take all the element, then here you can give third bracket @class equal to the value, right? You can see that is getting highlighted, that div is getting highlighted, right? After that in the div there is an anchor link is there, right? So I can simply /a. You can see that text is getting highlighted. So that's why I can identify the text, right? So that text I can get it out, I can print it out, right? I can store in some string. So that is the XPath I can give it, right? Then once the my move to element operation successful, right, then I can get the text. So that text I am storing in some web element with the help of the XPath I am creating. Then I can easily get the text from the tooltip text, right? So with the help of text method available Selenium WebDriver with ch. You can see this is the method text where return type is string. So I can store in some string tooltip text. Here I can give the name called element, okay, and here I can give the reference of that one. So that will be my text, and then I can print it out, right, with the help of console.writeLine. So just let's check the variable here. Otherwise same thing, tooltip text, and that text I want to print it out. Now let's try to run it and let's see whether whatever tooltips it is getting displayed in the console is matching with the actual tooltips or not. And are we able to just get that tooltips, right, where, right, jQuery plugin or CSS tooltips is already available specific to some web page. So these are the two ways, right, through which we can handle the tooltips available for a particular element. Element can be image, element can be link, element can be text field, element can be button, like that. So it is trying to load the page. After the page is fully loaded, you can see that is getting clicked, right, because I want to move to the element and click and hold, right? So that is happening, and apart from that, tooltips is also getting printed out in the console, right, where the tooltips is going on. What is the text is coming here? Yeah, tooltips text. Okay, here element ID is coming. Okay, let's check why it is not being displayed exactly. Okay, so we need to try more. We need to run the script one more time. So here where we are doing, right, in case the tooltip, right, we are unable to find that title attribute for some element, right, where tooltip is available. First we will try to identify the button, right, with the help of any element locator technique, right. Then with the help of actions class we will move to the element and build perform operation, or sometime we can click and hold that thing. After that, whatever text is there, right, we will try to identify the element, right, with the help of XPath or CSS. We will store in some web element. Then with the help of text method we can get the tooltip text and we will store in some string, and then we will print it out in the console, right. So let's try to run the code and let's see whether now it is giving the proper tooltips or not for that particular page where jQuery plugin is there. So it is trying to launch the page. Once the page is fully loaded, right, it will try to, right, perform the operations after moving to the element, right, and it will get the particular tooltip text and will print out in the console. So it is trying to click and hold as well. You can see it is visible as well, and in the console it should be displayed. Yeah, you can see the tooltip text and what's new in 3.2, that part is being displayed here. That is the text I'll be expecting, right. So if you go here, so this is the text, what's new in 3.2, right. So that should be the text here, what's new in 3.2. okay, if you click here also it's coming, right, what's new in 3.2. so that is my text in being displayed in my console as well. So that's why you can deal with that tooltips where like title thing is title at attribute is not available for specific web element. So tooltip is nothing but whenever you are mousing over some object, right, can be link, image, button, hyperlink, text area, some sort of text will give you more information about the object and through which you can understand that particular object in better way, right. In case for that object title is already there, you can call simply the get attribute method, right, title, you can get the tooltips and you can store in the string format. After that you can use anywhere it's required. But in case especially for the jQuery or CSS tooltips, right, there will be title attribute will not be available. So you need to create an object or instance of the actions class. You need to find the element, you need to store there, and after that with the help of move to element, perform and build, right, build perform operation, you need to go to the mouse over to that particular element, and then you need to identify the text whatever is visible after mousing over to the tooltips, and that text you can just store in some web element with the help of the CSS or CS XPath, and then you can with the help of text method you can print them or you can store them in some string, and after that you can use them as and where required. So that's all about then how you can verify the tooltips in Selenium WebDriver using C#. Thank you.